let's begin. Straight line graphs using a table of values. With these kind of questions, you'd get an equation of a line, of a straight line, and you're told to draw the graph. Now, with this question here that we've got, I've done most of the work for you. I've written the table of values already. Sometimes you have to do that yourself. Sometimes a question will give you a table of values like this. And I've also drawn my x and y axes, and I've labeled them minus 10 to 10 for the y and minus 10 to 10 for the x. I'm just going to quickly write down this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis. Okay, so let's begin. The equation that we've got is y equals 3x minus 4, and I've done the values for x already, so you have to write them down yourself, and then you have to work out what the y value is. This gives you a pair of coordinates that you can plot, and you can draw your straight line. Okay, let's begin. X is 3, let's say x is 3, then y is 3 times 3 minus 4, because remember, 3x. There's an invisible times sign between 3 and x. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 take away 4 is 5. Now, your x changes. We need to find the y value. So this time x is 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 take away 4 is 2. And now your x is 1. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 take away 4 is minus 1. Now remember, if you're trying to work out a 3 minus 4, because remember 3 times 1 is 3 and 3 minus 4, you can use your x axes to help you out. So we're doing 3 minus 4, we're at 3, and we take away 4, we need to go left 4 steps, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and we reach minus 1. And that's your y value, and we've already worked it out. Okay, the next one, x is 0, and your y value would be then 3 times 0, which is 0. 0 take away 4, again, 0, we're at 0, 0 take away 4, we need to go back 4 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're at minus 4. And now, x is minus 1. Now, 3 times minus 1, so let me just work it out, 3 times minus 1. Now, 3 times minus 1 is going to be minus 3. Now, minus 3 minus 4, again, you're at minus 3, and you're going back 4 steps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to reach minus 7. Now, you're going to start seeing a pattern with linear lines. Take a look. We're at 5, and to go to 2, we go back 3 steps. And if we're at 2, we go back another 3 steps, we're at minus 1. Go back 3 steps, minus 4. Go back 3 steps, minus 7. Go back 3 steps, so minus 7. Go back 3 steps, 1, 2, 3. You're going to reach minus 10. And if you go back 3 steps again, it's going to be minus 13. Or you can work it out. In fact, x is minus 3. 3 times minus 3, so 3 times minus 3 is minus 9. And minus 9 minus 4 is going back 4 steps on your number line, which is minus 13. Now we've got a pair of coordinates, we can start plotting the coordinates on your graph, and you're going to get dots. That's going to go in a pattern, and then you can just draw your straight line. So the first coordinate that we have is 3 and 5. So your x is 3 and your y is 5. So your x is 3, y is 5. It's going to be at this point here. Next one, x is 2, y is 2. So 2 is going to be this point here. X is 1, y is minus 1. So x is 1, y is minus 1. It's going to be this point here. And x is 0, y is minus 4. X is 0, y is minus 4 is going to be here. Can you start seeing the straight line that's going to go through this already? If you can't, just keep going and then use your ruler to go through it. Otherwise, we don't really need to do every single one of them. 3 or 4 would do. And if you find that a line can go straight through all these points, then you can just use your ruler and just go straight through them. So our straight line that's going to go straight through all these points is this line. Notice my line has gone above and beyond our last coordinates and below this coordinate here. So don't worry, you do not have to stop at those points. Just extend your line and that should do. And we're done. So here's our equation of a line on a graph. Now the next example is this. Draw the graph with equation y equals 4x. Now with this example, they haven't given us a table of values. You have to draw the table values yourself. Sometimes questions would be just a simple line. Draw the graph with the equation y equals 4x minus 2. So what we're going to start doing when we get a question like this is drawing our table of values. And just a quick draw, use a ruler and pencil. So here's my table of values, one line for x and one line for y. And I'm going to split this up. Now you can choose whatever x values you like, but keep it simple and don't do too many x values. I think this would be enough. So here's my x and here's my y, and I'm going to pick the x values. I'm going to put 0 in the middle, 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2, and go back to the equation. Here's our table of values. Over at this point, our x is 2, so we got 4 times x minus 2, so 4 times 2, remember your x is 2 now, so 4 times 2 is 8, 8 to take away 2 is 6. Now your x is 1, so 4 times 1 is 4, 4 take away 2 is 2. And now your x is 0, so 4 times 0 is 0. 0 take away 2, if you can't do 0 take away 2 in your head, just go to your x value, x line, x-axis, sorry, x-axis, and go back 2 steps because we've taken away 2. So go back 2 steps, 1, 2, and we reach minus 2. And now your x is minus 1, so 4 times minus 1 is 4 times minus 1. It's okay if you can't do it in your head, just work it out, just write it down. 4 times minus 1 is minus 4, and minus 4 minus 2, minus 4 minus 2, this basically means you're at minus 4 and you go back 2 steps because you're subtracting 2. So go back 2 steps, 1, 2 is minus 6. Now you've probably noticed something. 6 take away 4 is 2, 2 take away 4 is minus 2, minus 2 take away 4 is minus 6, so it's always going up, down in steps of 4. So you're going back in steps of 4. So minus 6 minus 4, so you have to go back 4 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to reach minus 10. And we're done. We're almost there. We're done with the table of values for our equation. Now all we have to do is plot and we're done. So our first pair of coordinates is x is 2, y is 6. So x is 2, here's your x-axis. Make sure you label them properly. I haven't done them here. X is 2, y is 6. And now your x is 1 and y is 2. X is 1, y is 2. For this one, x is 0, y is minus 2. So x is 0, we don't have to go left or right. Y is minus 2 is at this point here. Notice you can start to imagine where the straight line is going to be. It's going to be somewhere, well, it's going to go through these 3 points. Now let's just check it with the last coordinate. X is minus 1, y is minus 6. So x is minus 1, y is minus 6 is going to be here. And we don't need to do the last point because the line is going to go through those points. So we can start to draw our straight line using a pencil and ruler. and our straight line is going to look like this. That's going to go through all those points. Remember, extend it beyond the first and last coordinates because it's a straight line and it's infinite. And we're done. This is the straight line for this equation, y equals 4x minus 2. Now we can check this by using the skills that we've learnt on determining the equation of a line. Remember, this minus 2 is your y-intercept. This minus 2 is your y-intercept. Does it go through minus 2? Yes, it does. It goes through the y-axis, which is at minus 2. Now the gradient is 4. Is our gradient 4? Well, we can check. Pick two good points. There's a good point, and there's a good point. Here's our gradient triangle. What's the rise? 4. And what's the step? 1. So, gradient is rise over step. This is just to check, by the way. You don't have to, but it's nice to check to see if you're right. Okay, back to the gradient. Gradient is rise over step. Our rise is 4. And our step is 1. What's 4 divided by 1, which is just 4? Is our gradient 4 in the equation? Yes, it is. So our line is correct, it's accurate and it's correct. And we're done. We've sketched y equals 4x minus 2. Now, another quick hint. They will not give you the graph like this. They won't even give you a graph. They'll, like I said, it's just going to be one line for a question. Draw the graph with the equation of y equals 4x minus 2. And what you have to do is you have to draw your table of values, pick good coordinates, and I've picked 0, 1, 2, minus 1, and minus 2. You don't have to do this. You could have done x's 1, 2, 3, and 4 and work out its y value and then just draw the equation of a line. And they won't give you the graph, like I said. You have to draw the graph yourself with a ruler, make sure that you label it properly, x and y, and you draw 1, 2, 3, 4, and all that. All label it properly and everything. And then use your table of values to sketch the equation. Now, with this question here, I've got a minus 2x here. So be careful with your times by minus. So if your x is a 3, you got minus 2 times 3. Now minus 2 times 3 is minus 6. Then you have to add 4. And if you're at minus 6 using your x axis as a number line, if you're at minus 6 and you're adding 4, remember adding is going to go to the right. So adding 4 would be 1, 2, 4 steps to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, you'll reach minus 2. So this would be a minus 2. And when your x is 2, you got minus 2 times 2. Minus 2 times 2 is minus 4. And if you're at minus 4 and you're adding 4, minus 4, adding 4, remember go to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4 steps to the right. And you're going to reach 0. And when your x is 1, so you got minus 2 times 1, which is minus 2. Now you have to add 4. So if you're at minus 2, adding goes to the right. So 4 steps to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to reach 2. And so on. Notice there's going to be a pattern. With linear graphs, there's always a nice pattern, and it's in steps. In fact, one more time, x is 0, minus 2 times 0. Now minus 2 times 0, anything times 0 is just going to be 0. Now we have to add 4. Now 0 add 4 is 4. Have you noticed anything so far? It's going up in steps of 2. So you're going to add 2 every time. Add 2, and another one. Add 2, then 6 add 2 is going to be, 4 add 2 is going to be 6, adding 2 is going to be 8, and adding another 2 is going to be 10. Now if you just want a check, or if you want another example, assume that we don't know that was a 10, let's rub it out. if x is minus 3, then you have minus 2 times minus 3. So minus 2 times minus 3. Now minus 2 times minus 3 is, well, minus and a minus make a plus. And 2 times 3 is going to be 6. 6 add 4 is 10. Just like the pattern, you can either work it out or look at the pattern and see what's happening and just write that down. Now you got your coordinates. So 3 and minus 2, x is 3, y is minus 3. X is 3, y is minus 2 is going to be at this point here. X is 2, y is 0. So x is 2, y is 0. Well, y is 0, you're not going to go up or down, so it's just going to be up on there. When x is 1, y is 2. So x is 1, y is 2 is going to be this point here. When x is 0, y is 4. So x is 0, y is 4 is going to be there. Can you already imagine a straight line that's going to go through these points? If you can't see it already, just put your ruler, see if your ruler goes through all those points, and if it does, you can stop and just draw your straight line, which is going to look something like this. And here's your straight line that goes through all those points, and you've just drawn the graph, or drawn the equation, y equals minus 2x plus 4. Just a quick tip at the end.